Could be interesting. Shoot, 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 shoot. So I cut up my feet pretty bad on some zebra mussels last time I went out on the wing. So I'm going to take a day off here and do some sailing. We have an interesting situation on this lake. It's a very narrow north-south lake, so it would be considered a bad sailing lake, I think, by most people's standards for sailing, because it's so narrow. Almost kind of more river-like. Very windy, very gusty today, so it could be interesting. Wind is coming from a very odd, so this is north, and it's coming from the west-northwest. So normally it's coming from the south. So it should be a little bit of a challenge today, getting in and out without crashing the boat. So let's get it set up and let's head on out. It's actually not an ideal way to launch the boat. We have the wind coming from there, so it's kind of directed in there, but I can feel a pretty strong wind coming from the side. So the sail is going to kind of push me to the side here, most likely. I'm going to let the sail flop. Normally I would attach it, but because the wind is so strong, I don't want the boat to take off just yet. So I'll just get it ready to attach. It's already moving. All right, let's go. Reel it in. I keep the rudders up until I get out past the weeds, and then I'll lower them straight down. It's going to be a challenge coming back in though without crashing. So that'll be my excitement. Oh. So as I was saying earlier, normally wind coming from the south makes this a really quite a good sailing lake. I can sail the entire length of the lake, even though it's such a narrow lake, and you do get some swirling winds when you're close to shore. But when it's coming from the north or the south, there's kind of a long, broad area of the lake where it just gives you kind of a straight-on shot. So you have to do a lot of tacking if you're going upwind. This is south. But the wind is actually coming from the northwest, kind of this direction here. Small boat like this, it's fun. It's actually a challenge to try to sail the boat in these kind of non-ideal conditions, and I kind of enjoy that. It's like, you know, if you're on a big, huge, round lake with a consistent wind, it's pretty easy to sail, and it's maybe a good lake to learn on. But a lake like this is fun to sail just because of the added challenge of, you know, getting to where you want to go when the wind's coming from an odd direction, or when you have some swirling shoreline to deal with. So one thing I wanted to mention about turning. So normally I like to turn into the wind. It just makes it a little bit safer, especially if there's a really strong gusty wind. But sometimes it's just more efficient to jibe. And so I'm kind of going downwind right now, and it looks like it's going to be a little bit of a gust coming up. But what I like to do when I'm jibing, and to do it a little safer, like to kind of pull it in a little bit just so it doesn't yank, it has too far to yank. And then the other thing I like to do is actually grab it to shorten it even more so I can control it. Actually, I pulled it in a little bit too much. But that way, once it grabs, then I can just kind of gently let it out. So I'm going to turn, it's going to catch the sail on the other side, and I just slowly, gently lay it out. And it just ends up being a little bit less violent than if you just kind of let it grab and go, because then it's potential of tipping over the boat or creating like a really rocky situation or damaging a sail or a line or something like that. So this could be interesting. Shoot. No. Okay. Well, that was smooth. Oh. A little bit too much speed. I had the sail almost all the way out, too. No harm. Looks like everything is fine. Okay, so in my defense, the idea is still a good idea. If you're going in at a 45-degree angle to the wind, and then at the last second you're turning so that the sail is going to be basically completely straight into the wind, that should slow down the boat and you should come to a stop. My problem was that I just went a little bit too fast as I was approaching the lift.